Hello, chemists. Michele Glass here. Welcome back to another one of our Chapter 2 videos. And our job here is to talk about how we can use atomic structure to determine chemical behavior. So what we're going to be talking about here are first, how do we determine if an atom is stable or reactive? So let's go back to our drawing of sodium that we finished with last time. So we said sodium has atomic number of 11. So that tells us that we're going to have 11 protons and 11 neutrons in the nucleus. And then we're going to put 11 electrons in the outermost shell. Remember, you always want to draw your electrons first unpaired and then pair them up. Since that first shell is full and the second shell is full, I'm ready to draw a third shell. And remember, this outermost shell here has a special name called the valence shell. Those electrons housed in the valence shell would be called valence electrons. And so I stick one there. Now remember our rules. Remember our rules. So our electron shells, we have the first shell can hold 2 electrons, the second shell can hold 8 electrons, and the third shell can hold also 8 electrons. So as we look at our atom of sodium, we see first and second shells are both complete. They have paired electrons, right? When we look at our valence shell, our outermost shell, we see just one lonesome electron, right? So our reactive atoms have incomplete valence shells. They have, or you can say unpaired valence electrons. And that's what we see with sodium. If we drew instead neon, so neon should have atomic number of 10. I'm doing this one from memory. And that would give it atomic mass of 20. This is true. Then we're going to put our 10 protons in the nucleus, our 10 neutrons in the nucleus, and we're going to draw our 10 electrons in the electron shell. Now, when we do this, we filled up our first shell, we moved into our second shell, and notice that our valence electron, our outermost shell, is complete. It has 8 electrons, which is all it can hold, and all of those electrons are paired. And so we would consider this to be stable. So a stable atom is one that has a complete valence shell or paired valence electrons, whereas reactive is incomplete or unpaired valence electrons. Now, the significance here is that it is your reactive atoms that are going to enter into what are called chemical bonds. So the reactive atoms go into chemical bonds, the stable atoms don't. So stable atoms are satisfied in their electron shells. They have all paired electrons. And so that is the reason they're classified as stable. When we talk about our chemical bonds, we'll see that there are 3 major types to discuss. So we'll have a video for each of these. So we have an ionic bond. We have what's called a covalent bond. And then we have what's called a hydrogen bond. Now, just as nice overview, when we talk about an ionic bond, we should think of transferring electrons. When we're talking about covalent bonds, we should think of sharing electrons. And when we think of hydrogen bonding, we should think of the term interaction or interactions to help us sort of remember this one. Stay tuned for a video on each of these. And as always, take care of yourselves and each other.